Oh, don't touch that. No. Ah,
Damn, that's old.
Are we in?
are we in?
We're in. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
What?
I see an empty screen up there.
Why is there a screen empty?
I don't know.
Don't we
Probably
have
a faulty on your fucking
no?
side
Don't
again.
we have a special guest tonight?
We do. You want to introduce him?
Go ahead.
We have 410 wing sprint car driver of Zach Hampton.
Ah, ta-da! Welcome,
There
Zach.
he is.
How's it going?
Pretty good,
What's up?
pretty good. Welcome to Just Got Off Podcast. It's Monday. It's 8:30, and it looks like you are in a race shop back there.
That I am.
All right. Busy working on cars, getting stuff put together for something, or
Yeah, I got a mess right now, but getting one new car built and then tearing one down from last weekend or last weekend. Not this past weekend, the weekend before. I think it's mostly okay, but I gotta take it and get it put on a jig, just see if it's all right or not, straightness wise, and then we'll get it put back together. So just playing catch up since I've been racing 2, 3, 4 times a week for a while now, and don't have anyone else full time. I'm a little bit behind, so just catching up.
it seems like the running rate of things that go with sprint car drivers is they're always behind the 8 ball and they're always playing catch up, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of it's self-inflicted, but yeah, still where I'm at right now, at least.
Right.
But at least you own that. I see that a lot on Twitter where people are heckling you. Which I'm gonna go in real quick. Today is June 26th, which is our National Chocolate Pudding Day, and I do see the hecklers on Twitter all the time, and you shut them down and shut them up pretty quick. So it's also National Forgiveness Day. Do you want to forgive any of them or fuck them? No.
I mean, I didn't really hold a grudge to begin with, so
Nothing to
the
forgive,
great
no
thing
harm.
about living in America is they can get on Twitter and say whatever they want.
Amen to
Yeah.
that.
Yes, sir.
About what
And
you
the
do
thing
with it.
is a lot of them too don't understand the hustle. They don't understand that when you're at the level that you are and you're running as many times as you are per week, like shit's gonna happen. And when you're running with the best and you're trying to chase the best, and it's gonna happen. I mean, you're gonna junk some shit every once in a while, and that's just part of it. I mean, Dave Darlin, I'm sure junked a lot of shit when he first started too.
Yeah,
know.
I mean everyone did. It's people. I think because of like the days of streaming now, like my learn it, whatever, my the however long it's taken me to learn it, and not that I have learned it, I'm still learning all the time, but I think I'm out of that, like, wrecking a lot of stuff stage. That was all televised for me. A lot
Right.
of guys wasn't, so like it looks like they didn't wreck a lot, but you just didn't see it. Like they still did. Everyone did. Larson
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
tore
does. Yeah.
all sorts of shit up.
Yeah.
Everyone, literally everyone. Donnie used to tear shit up. Brad used to tear shit up. So like it is what it is. It's just mine's been televised, and then I've ran so much with the Outlaws or the All Stars that so many people are watching that it's just all of mine have been
You got a
under
target
the
on you.
spotlight.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't even know that it's a target. It's just I was in the spotlight when it happened, and a lot of other guys maybe spend 2 or 3 years running around, local stuff, and they might still run a lot, but like they're not at the big races where everyone's watching. So,
Right.
like it goes unnoticed.
And I've got something on the soundboard for them that are calling you out.
And he can kiss my dick.
Jack Hewitt said it
If I
best.
get the chance, he's going
Yeah,
to.
he did.
Yeah.
Um,
So
we
and
were
see
quoting
the
that
other
video
thing
all
too
last
that I
week.
remember is I don't know. So let's back up real quick actually, and then I'll get back into a comparison of what you're talking about being a spotlight person of who they think should be great in their junk and all kinds of shit. Do you remember how we met? I think you said that it was at Montpelier or something.
That would have been my guess, but it really could have been anything.
I can't tell you the year, but
It would have been a while ago.
it was out at the Chili Bowl Nationals.
Okay. Oh fuck.
He said earlier, he goes, "Man, I was a little shithead back then." You had long hair, and I want to say that you walked up with Gage.
Walker probably.
Yep.
That wouldn't be
And
uncommon.
and you were like, God, I'm not trying to dog on you. You looked like a little girl. He had this long ass straight hair, and then he talked, and I'm like, oh fuck, this is a guy. And then
Yeah. I think that was probably the year I cut my hair.
It is. That's where I was going. So you were walking around the building with long hair, and I don't know what happened, but we all hung out that day with Peck because I was helping Justin Peck out.
Okay.
And like the next day, you came back in. I had no fucking clue who you were. You walked up again, and I had no clue. You had cut your hair.
Yeah, well, so they had sports clips or whatever, and it was like free haircuts, but all the tips went to I honestly can't remember. It could have been Leffler's kid. It was, a driver that had died, in
And I
a
think
racing
that was
accident.
right
It was to
after
their kid.
Jason. Yeah, I think that was right after Jason
it was
Leffler
going
passed
to
away.
yeah, I think it was going to Jason's son or like a benevolent fund, whatever, for his kid. And someone, I don't know, obviously there was drinking involved.
Somebody in our chat just said, was beer involved?
There was lots of beer.
I wasn't drunk. There was beer, but we were all drinking, and someone was like, "Oh, I bet you $20 you won't cut your hair." And then it just kind of turned in. A bunch of people did. And I think it ended up being like 140 or $160, like worth of people giving it. And I just, I went and got my hair cut and like donated that money. Like I didn't keep any of it. I just gave it to them as a tip or whatever.
That's badass. See, I never got that side of it.
That's how it happened. I don't remember who the first person was. That said like, oh, but $20, you won't cut your hair, whatever. And it is like whatever, 4, 5, 6, 7 people ended up chipping in, and then I just went and got it cut like during, I don't know, the D mains or whatever that night.
That's badass.
That's
so
awesome.
now that you kind of remember the time, I don't know if you remember me, but do you remember the nickname that we gave you out there?
Yeah, it was Stuart Little.
Yeah, he looked like the little kid off of Stuart Little.
Kale. It was Kale that tweeted it the next morning. We were driving somewhere, and he took a picture of me, and I was smiling, and I looked just like the kid off Stuart Little, George. And
George, yes.
like he tweeted it, and then like just everyone at the Chili Bowl, like people I had no idea who they were. Like as I was walking by, people were shouting it and shit. So
yeah, but you're not the first one to get a nickname from the Chili Bowl. Chris Wyndham gave himself a nickname at the Chili Bowl of Big Daddy, and I'm sure alcohol was heavily involved with that fella, or not yours. So
yeah,
that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
yeah, that's how I met Zach. Yeah,
That's
I met him
great.
out there at the Chili. He walked up, and I thought he was a little girl, and then he talked, and then he showed up the next day, and I had no fucking clue who he was because he got his haircut.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
that was long.
do you also remember what happened that maybe it was like Wednesday or Thursday night?
The night I like disappeared.
Well, you weren't all fucking there. I was standing in front of you. We were up over there with the top row rowdies, and obviously we couldn't be that high. We were down low, and Cushion was getting gnarly, dude. I mean, it was
Oh, I got
rolling
knocked.
over.
Was that the year I got knocked out?
Fuck yes. So
Yeah.
it there was a mud chunk. I'm not even kidding. It came through the fence, and I'm watching him go down the backstretch. Okay, so a mud chunk hits me, and it was almost like something had greased my head because it glazed off the side of my left head. It felt like somebody fucking punched me, dude. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I felt my head, and it was like all like hard from the clay that had smeared itself through. And I turn around and look, and he's standing behind me, and he's just in fucking utter shock. And I look back at him, and there's a mud chunk sitting at his feet, and he's got a big red circle all the way from the bottom of his neck to his chest. I mean, it just glazed off my head and just smoked him right in the throat, dude. And I still don't think you said a whole like there was only like 3 or 4 laps left.
There
I
was
don't
like three.
remember
I
who
missed the
won.
last 3 laps.
Yeah, I didn't either because I was trying to figure out if he was just
Died
fucking
or not.
standing zombie or what happened.
Yeah, that like knocked the drunk out of me. Like that's all I remember when it happened. Like I don't
That's
remember the last
fucking
3 laps, and
hilarious.
I was not drunk, but I was pretty buzzed before, and I was stone cold fucking sober. Like right after it hit me.
I don't remember you saying a fucking word. I remember us walking through the concession stands on the backstretch, all the way back up the ramp, and was standing up there, and I still don't think you had said a word. I mean, and it
You
was
probably
glowing
couldn't.
Yeah, I haven't
red
said
by that
much.
point. It was wild. I've never.
Yeah, I was pretty bruised.
Damn. We were down at
It
Hobstadt
was
one
pretty
year.
sick.
I think it was the first time I ever took Stephanie to Hobstadt, and we always sit right there by the pit exit on turn 4, or was it turn 2? And hot laps, dude. I'm sitting there laid back in my little chair. Next thing you know, I take one of the junk about that big around.
You probably had to pull mulch out of there too. I remember, and this is where
it's
okay,
actually
I'll
it's
flip
right
back
it's right up
now.
there on my sprint car wall.
Oh, really?
I have it. Yeah.
So this is where I was gonna flip back. So in 2016 to 2017, I worked for John and Jared Andretti, and Jarrett caught a lot of shit just because he was wrecking a bunch of stuff too. But a lot of people don't realize that Jarrett didn't start racing until he was 16 years old. He thought just because his dad was in NASCAR and IndyCar that he had all that experience too. You know that grew up racing and he didn't. Like Jarrett was a soccer player and you know he never messed with it until then. So they caught Jarrett right in his prime of destroying shit and sailing him out of the park at like Waynesfield. I think he sailed one out at Gas City, and so everybody called me a fucking idiot too, and I went working for him.
As a
like
matter
in
of fact,
2015, he had junked a bunch of cars.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when Stephanie and I started dating, we had seen a lot of sprint car races, and we were at Lincoln Park one night, and he come rolling out of the push chute, and Stephanie goes, "Isn't that the guy that wrecks all those cars all the time?" Had no clue who he was, just knew the car.
Yeah, and that sucks, dude, because it's just one of those deals. Like I said, you got to start somewhere, and you're not gonna find that edge without hitting it, and. Luckily, he did get a lot of that out in the 2015 season, and the cars that I did have to fix and rebuild and stuff were going for wins. I mean, they were logical fuck ups, and he was going for broke. It wasn't just because he was being an idiot. I mean, we were fast, and he knew it, and he was salivating and just stepped on it a little bit. So. But yeah, that's where I was going with that earlier about having a common denominator there of just an example of somebody that has Jared's. I think he's doing road course stuff now. I haven't talked to him for a little while, but yeah.
I mean, kind of like you're kind of giving a bad name for yourself, like people don't realize that like just fucking shit happens, and sometimes you get on a hot streak, and sometimes you don't, like. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. I mean, I've torn some stuff up for sure, but I don't know. Like my biggest thing is I haven't tore other people's shit up. You know, like if I, 9 times out of 10 that I've torn my stuff up is like, just on me. Like I'm not.
Sure.
It's not that I'm being an asshole and like racing people too hard and wearing people out. Like
Dirty sliding
I
them
was,
or anything. Yeah.
yeah, like I just fucked up, by myself or whatever, which is whatever. And then, this year I fucked up once, like legit my fault, and it was for racing for third at an all-star show. So it kind of is what it is. At least I was running up front. So yeah, I don't know. For the
So
most
this
part, I
this
brush
is
all
what you
that
do.
shit
You
off.
don't
But
actually have a full-time job. This is what you do.
no, I was so when I graduated high school in 2016, and then like I kind of just fucked off that summer for like 2 or 3 months, and then I joined the apprenticeship to be a union electrician, and I was just like a whatever, like helper for probably, I don't know, not quite a year, and then I did that. I did the first 3.5. I did half of that, and then 2020 was the last year I worked. So like December 28th or something of 2020 was like the last day I worked. I left that. I was supposed to in 21 like drive for a guy out of PA, and we were going to do the All Stars, and it just was not at all what it was supposed to be. It just didn't really work out. So I left that and ran my own stuff that year, and then last year we hit it like fairly hard, at least for me. I ran as much last year as I did my first 2 years. Ran like 52 races last year, and then this year we were supposed to do a similar, pretty much the same type of schedule. And like late March, my crew chief left, decided he wanted to do something else. So I've been on my own since then. But yeah, I mean, like racing, I haven't raced this weekend, but I don't think I've had one other off weekend since probably April 1st.
So you
I
legit
think it was
don't
my
have
second
anybody
weekend off.
going with you to the track or nothing.
No, I do. I've had since the Let's Race 2 at Eldora, I've had Ayrton Olson, who worked for TSR for like
Yeah.
3-4 years. He goes to the track with me. Before that, I didn't go racing. Okay, I did like 2 or 3 times. I went kind of more or less by myself. But for the most part, like I always found somebody that could go and help. Like Brian Paulus went the first weekend I went racing. He went with me, and then the following weekend, my buddy who races 360s in Louisiana, or from Louisiana, but he races a little bit here and there. He came and helped at Peevely. I don't remember who helped the next weekend, honestly. I think the next weekend, my buddy Zane, who worked for Wyndham last year, but now he's at an Indy Lights team, he went to Jacksonville with me, and we ran second. But he really went to Jacksonville with someone else, but he pushed me up to staging and shit, and all that. I ran second that night, and then there's another weekend there. I don't remember who went. But Ayrton's been to, I would say, 90% of the races I've been to since Let's Race 2.
So is that like I mean working with different people can really throw you off because you don't
Yeah, it's really
actually
hard.
get into a system. I mean you guys don't have a little I guess a chemistry there. So so Ayrton coming on here at the end, I mean is he been kind of at the end of it? I mean you feel like you're getting something picked up and getting a good chemistry with him and you guys have a good system going that'll work every weekend
Yeah,
for you?
we get along. We get along really well, and I think we've been running really well. But and we bounce a lot of ideas off each other. But like he's not a crew chief. He was a tire guy, which he knows how to do most everything. So
Right.
it takes a lot of like the I don't have to worry about anything like when it car related when I've got him there at least.
Mechanical
Like I know that
stuff.
the wheels are going to be tight. Like I know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
whatever. Like the couple times we did have like anything mechanical was like in hot laps or before hot laps, like in engine heat, I'd whatever let something loose. Like and it was me. It was like motor related. So the stuff that he does hasn't, we haven't had any failures on that end. And we
And
haven't
that's
really had any
important.
failures.
That is very, very
Yeah,
important.
I mean,
I mean,
but
you
like,
can't
I think
fuck that stuff
there's
up. You can't
also,
fuck that stuff up in sprint car racing. I mean, that's one of those things that like mistakes kill people. You can't. You have to pay attention to what you're doing.
and it just creates DNFs, which we haven't had many of. But like I have one motor that's really, really strong that I would say in the right circumstances could win the million. Like, it's good enough to win the million or the nationals, like, or close to good enough. But it's lapped out right now. I just took it back. My other two are good motors, but they're not great. Like, they're good, just good enough to make the invert. But I think we have good chemistry, and we've got a good car balance right now. But we're just not playing with much as far as trying to get faster, like, or getting the car better. Like, we try little things here and there, but like, we just, without having honestly a real crew chief, it's gonna be tough. I think our
Right.
success is capped at how we can only get so good, the two of us, and he's not full time. I think he kind of wants to. I just don't think I can afford to pay him full time right now. And plus, I'm out of motors currently until I'm supposed to go to PA this week, and that gives me one, but that's not enough at all.
No,
So,
yeah,
I
because
don't
if
know.
one
It's
one
tough.
wrong thing happens, you're a
Well, I
shit
started
streak
with three
again.
fresh ones. I started with three fresh ones, and I made it 21 races before I was out because the first two didn't make it.
God,
One
isn't
made
that
it one night.
crazy?
One made it one night, broke in the heat race of the second night, and then the other one made it like 4 or 5, but we had troubles with it from the first night. So, yeah, good times.
Fucking motors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you're not leading a
So-
fucking $250,000 to win race and for 20 or so laps, and then have your fucking shit
Fuck,
crap out
man.
on you.
I mean,
That-
that would suck, but I would rather mine have broke it, you leading a 250,000 race than
Right.
running 7th at a high limit heat race.
Right.
Buddy did a better job
like-
than me because I would have crawled out of that car crying. Like,
Yeah.
that's he was literally at the highs of highs, and it just dropped him. I mean,
Yeah.
that'd be a tough way to go
Tough
out.
one to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, it would be for me. Like when I was racing, like you see a picture of my midget here behind me, like it was a family owned operation, and I was working at a performance engine shop and could do all the machine work and stuff myself. My dad's a mechanic, has been for longer than I've been alive, so we built our own motors and we did our own stuff. We paid for it ourselves, and obviously I'm not racing anymore. It's one of those things that's hard, and I've got kids and stuff now, but that hits you right in the gut a lot harder when it's stuff that you did, like when it's stuff that you paid for and it's your motors and it's your money. Like, I know we had engine problems one time, and like I could have puked, because I just know everything that we put into it and paid for. Some of these guys,
Yeah, it's your money down
it's
the
a
drain.
shrug on the shoulder, because it's a car owner's problem. But when it's your motor and you're paying for it, it's a different deal. It hits a lot harder.
Yeah, it's I think even I think most guys, even when it's they're car owners, anyone who's been involved, even if it's not their money, like just involved in the buying anything racing related, like on a team even 5 years ago, like when they're driving for their car. I think most of them like do like have that. Still, I guess there's still nights it's just gut wrenching. It's like like you could puke. Like, it's just disgusting to think, how much it costs or whatever, and it's like nothing you or really anyone else could have done differently to make it not happen. But
Right.
I don't know. It's definitely a ridiculously expensive sport.
We got a guy that volunteered in our YouTube chat that said he'll work for beer.
Yeah. The only problem is that I've had a ton of people like reach out, oh, I could help here and there. It's like, yeah, more times than not, like having someone come help that either A, doesn't know, or B, they do know, but they're only coming to help for a weekend. it's honestly more of a hassle to have them help than it is to just do it myself. Like it'd be better. It's easier to
Yeah.
just do it myself.
Yeah.
By the time I explain it to somebody, it has now cost me more time, So like that's kind of the downside is I'm not in a position to be teaching anybody or anything like that because I don't have the time. I'm better off just doing it myself.
Right. Yeah. You don't have the time
And
because
that's not.
you're there to
I
go as
tried to
fast as you
explain that.
can. Period.
Yeah, like I tried to
Right.
explain that to someone on Twitter once as they were offering, and I don't know, they were like kind of upset because I was like, I basically said that like, no, it really, isn't help, and they're like, oh well, whatever, and it's like, dude, it's not like anything against anyone. It's just I
The way it
do
is.
not have time to explain. Like there's not time for that, especially when you're running an outlaw show, or even I guess most all-star shows. Like it's everything's going. Like you do not have time to teach
Yeah.
someone this or that or answer this question or that question. Like there's no support classes. It's not like racing at Putnamville where like you heat race and then you might as well take your suit off because it's gonna be 3 hours before you race the feature. Like it's just not like
Yeah.
that.
There's not 4 or 5 support classes there to soak up that time.
Yeah, and there's way more on the line. I just can't.
It's too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much to risk. So I mean, when did you start racing? Like, when did you first kind of become passionate about it? And then, I guess when did it really hit you that like this is it? This is what you want to do for a living?
I started when I was 5, like quarter midgets. And I ran those till I was like 10 or 11, and then we ran micros. And I always loved it. Like, so we ran micros until I was like 14, 15, and then we got a midget. And I ran that till I was like 17. And then I started driving a 305 for Bill Throckmorton. Well, it was his car, and it was Dan Roberts' motor. And I ran that like 3 or 4 times. And that year, that was like my senior. That was between my like junior and senior year of high school. And
Yeah.
I drove that like 3 or 4 times. My dad was like, "Hey, since you're doing that deal, like we traveled everywhere." So he was like, "I'm kind of done. Like I'm ready to whatever. Do you mind if I sell this stuff?" And I was like, "No, I mean, that's fine. Like sell our own stuff." And so he sold our midgets, and then I won like the third night I ran that thing, and then we got rained out, and then the fourth night or whatever I was supposed to race it. The motor broke in like hot laps, and then I got fired. They were mad the night I won because he told me to run the bottom, and it sucked on the bottom. I was running like 4th.
I heard this story.
We had a caution with like 8 to go, so I jumped up top and like pounded the curb and won by almost half a track in like 8
He got
laps. I mean,
fired.
just smoked them. And then when the motor broke, that was like I almost got fired like in victory lane. And then when the motor broke, I didn't even really race again. The motor broke. He was like, "Yeah, you should just come get your seat." It's like, okay. I mean, you hired me to drive the car. If you can't let me make a judgment call, once I get out onto the track, then I don't want to drive for you anyways.
Yeah, especially when you're winning 3rd, 4th race out.
Yeah. I mean, it was a 305. It was like nothing, crazy, but yeah. So, and then I really for like the next, let's see, that would have been 2015. I didn't really race for like 4 years, hardly. I ran Kenny Owens midget a handful of times. I ran a couple of like 1 or 2 other cars, like once or twice each. Like honestly, some shit that looking back, I don't know why I would have ever even considered getting in. Just like unsafe. And then I ran a winged 360 for a guy named James Page in 2018. Probably like 5-6 times.
Jimmy Page? Isn't he the guitar player for Led Zeppelin?
Dano is he's a rocker, man. He plays guitar in a band and stuff. So
you said James Page, and I was like, light bulb. I think I know that guy.
Yeah, that safety stuff though, man. Like I think if anybody that's driven for somebody else has done some sketchy shit. Like I drove a TQ for a guy one time, and I showed up. He called me and said that he had a car and wanted me to drive it, and I was down in Brookville at the beach at the Brookville Lake, and they were racing in Marion County, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna be a while before I can get there. And he said, don't matter, just come on, just bring your stuff, and I said, well, what do I owe you? And he's like, nothing. Just come show up and race. Okay. So I showed up and I'd never sat in this car before, and I got in, and it's like trying to steer one of the fucking teddy bears at the county fair, dude. I mean, it was just a flat. I mean, the whole steering wheel was parallel with the frame rails, and I was like, what the fuck? I mean, I mean, it was literally old school. I was up on the wheel the whole night, just pushing it forward and back. It was it was bad. It wasn't fun. It was kind of sketch.
Yeah, so I like that. Those like 3 years off, 4 years off, where I didn't have anything to drive, and we didn't have our family, like any family stuff left. Was I would say that was where I realized like how much I wanted to race, but I didn't really have a way to. And then when I started running that 360, I bought a car. I bought a roller from Brian Paulus, and then I put that guy's 360 in it and ran like 2 more races. And then that winter, he kind of had to sell everything. So that was a weird deal. His dad, like 20 years, 14 or 15 years prior to me driving for this guy, he was like mid-30s when I met him and drove for him. So when he was like 20, his dad was a pool boy. And so Bristol Myers Squibb, who invented Tylenol, he was
Oh
the pool
wow.
boy for like the heiress, I guess the granddaughter. So she was like the primary shareholder at the time of Bristol Myers Squibb, and her dad, this guy's dad was her pool boy, and ended up marrying her. Well, they were married for like 14 or 15 years, and like she was in her mid 50s, and they had a prenup, and then after 10 years, they got like a will, like a real will, but because it's like corporate money, there's so many people that had to sign off. Well, she's like mid 50s, and they just hadn't gotten around to it. And so she passed away like this winter of whatever, and her 2 real kids like sued and contested the will. So it ended up going back to like they won, so it went back to the prenup. So he only got like a couple million, he got like 10 million, and then James died before he got like a million, but like he had to go back to work and like was no longer living off that. So
Holy
that's why he
crap.
sold everything.
Damn.
So I bought a Dash 12,
He
and
wrote a zero real quick.
yeah. I bought a Dash 12 from a non-wing guy that winter. Like I talked my dad into buying it, like for $7,500 or something. And I went to a non-wing race, a race here at Putnamville early in the year, just to like kind of shake the car down. And I don't know, we ran okay, whatever. And then I put a wing on it like 6 weeks later when I finally had help again. And Cale Thomas went with me. We went to Attica and blew it up in hot lap the first night, like the first time I put a wing on it. So I went like 6 more weeks. I went till August. I didn't race. This is like 2019. Went on so I was still in the apprenticeship. Sunday, I drove to St. Louis to Loyette's and bought an all pro. I drove back home. Monday morning, I had school from like 7:30 to 4. Got off, or got out of the schooling part, the apprenticeship, come back home that Monday night, put the 410 in the car, didn't know how to didn't even know how to run the fuel lines for like a sprint car. So just grabbed my fuel lines, and then I didn't have any like mufflers for Knoxville. I woke up Tuesday morning and drove to the Nationals, and that was my first real wing 410 race, was the Knoxville Nationals in 19. And then I got to race probably 4 more times that year in the 410, and like I would say that's when it really like clicked or whatever, that I don't know, this is what I wanted to do. I was never involved that much in my family stuff, like even when we had the midgets, especially when I was young. And so I don't know, once I was like more involved, it was on me to,
Yeah.
if I wanted to go racing, like I better make it happen. I would say that's when I like really got passionate about it. I've always loved it, but like, I don't know.
So, I mean, who's go ahead, Dano.
I feel like you're early enough in your what I consider kind of big sprint car career that you probably every time you get in the car you still like, fuck yeah, dude, like I'm about to go fast. I'm a rip the fucking tires off this thing. Do you still get that feeling every time you get in the car?
Yeah, I would say yes, but no. Like I don't know. Yes, I still love like obviously getting in it, but it's not like
He's turning a
I
new
don't know.
leaf,
It's not a
Daniel. He's
speed
trying not
thing.
to fuck shit up.
No, it's not even that. It's just like it's not the going fast part that is like the fun part or whatever. I mean, it's fun, I guess, but like I don't know. It's kind of an unexplainable feeling. I feel like the the like difficulty of it of like actually being fat. Like there's no way to be perfect, right? Like I
Right.
guess would be the thing. So like you're always chasing, even if you win, like you could have been better. So
Yep.
there's always that. Like if I went bowling, right? Like you can bowl perfect. Like you couldn't have gotten any more points if you wanted
Sure.
to.
Yeah.
But like in racing, like you can just always be better no matter what. Like even Kyle Larson could be better, right? Because he didn't win every single race he's in. So
Sure.
like I think that's what we're all chasing, and that's like the most fun part of it to me. I don't think you ever get in one and like don't learn something. Like I think even Donnie Schatz like still learns when he gets in the car and drives every single night. Like
Well,
he figures something else out.
and it changes even more every year because the shock packages keep changing, and now they're changing tires. And so, I mean, just with the evolution of the sport itself, you think you got some of it figured out in some aspects, and then it just completely changes again. Then
Oh,
it's a whole new learning curve.
it's a humbling deal. I mean,
Yeah.
Carson Macedo, arguably one of the fastest drivers in the country right now, like easily top 3 or top 5 in the country. Like at any racetrack, he's a top 3 guy, and he just flat out spun out the other night, Friday night at Houston. It's like didn't get help from anyone, just spun out. Like, and like it's just, like it just happens. Like I don't know. It's so much.
To me,
There's so much more going on that like people don't understand. I mean, they don't get it. And even when they're like, "Oh yeah, I get it," there's a lot going on. It's like you still don't
understand.
You still don't understand. I still don't understand. And I do it every week.
Yeah, that's the same
like,
thing for me. Like when I go to a gig, I'm a guitar player. It's not just show up, put my guitar on, play for 4 hours, and then take my guitar off, get in the truck, and go home. There's 4 hours worth of work before the show. There's the show itself, and then there's 2 hours worth of work after the show. Plus all the fucking practices and all the fucking notes I have to memorize. I'm at the point in my music career to where I'm still learning stuff. I've played guitar for 30 friggin' years. Like I'm learning shit in the middle of a gig. I'll go, fuck, that was cool. How the fuck did I do that? Wow. So I get that feeling.
And I would say like the biggest thing that people don't understand is like I hear all the time. I think every driver does, or anyone that works on race cars for a living is like, when people ask, or I tell anyone if I meet a random person like.
And I think you're getting ready to cover one of my questions too. Is what do people misunderstand most about racing? So I think dirt racing. So I think you're getting ready to cover that.
Sort of. Like I hear all the time, like when I tell someone I race full time, or if someone comes up to me at the track and they're like, "Oh, do you have a real job, or are you just doing this?" And I say, "No, like this is my job. Like I'm racing." I hear so much like, "Oh, that must be awesome!" Like, or you're living the dream, or whatever, like. And I am like I love this, but man, people don't understand. Like it's not.
It's 7 days a week.
As soon as you once you're doing it for a living, it's not the same. Like the guy on an open trailer looking at the featherlight at an outlaw show, and he goes, "Man, you guys, like you're so lucky you have all that." Like that dude on the open trailer that ran 17th in the C main is having 10 times more fun than all of us in the past.
He's having the time of his fucking life, man.
Like
it's
because
true
we got
too,
like
man.
the night's over, we have so much pressure on us. We draw the right pill number. You qualify as good as you can. Like you do everything right, and you ran 14th place, and it's midnight. You got to drive 2 hours, hit a car wash, drive another 2 hours to the next track. Like, and this dude's just gonna go roll home and like
leave his
drink a
shit in
few
the
beers.
driveway. Leave it
Like,
on the open trailer.
We're not even gonna be to the car wash yet, and he's gonna be 10 beers deep at home, like in his boxers, whatever. Like so. I don't know. There's just I don't think people quite understand that like it's so different once you're doing it for a living. It is like I love it, but like I think Schoenberg said it. I don't remember if it was. I think it was Volusia this year when they were interviewing a bunch of drivers, and like it was probably the best way to explain it is like this like I love racing full time, but there's a lot of days where it's really hard to remember why like you love it or why you're doing it. Like it's tough. It's just the highest highs and lowest lows.
Like all the time and at any given time.
Like
Yeah.
it's, you know,
And you're doing it from both perspectives, from working on it and driving. I can only, because I did it full time as a crew guy, as a chief mechanic, and it's 7 days a week, dude. I mean, you're damn right. I mean, you're at the racetrack Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You come home, and most of the time we were running at Kokomo on Sunday, so you'll wash on Monday morning, tear everything apart, come back on Tuesday and kind of clean everything up, try and go back together, restock the trailer, dismount tires, mount tires, do all this sizing and shit, restock the trailer, get everything cleaned
and
up.
I don't even get to race in the state. I don't even get to race here.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I race
You travel
Indiana
everywhere
2 nights
else.
a year. I have
Yeah.
my the closest I get. I'm lucky if my drive is only 3.5 hours, but more times than not, I'm 4+. Like
That's
so not
crazy,
this
dude.
past weekend, the weekend before, we did so we raced Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We left basically Indianapolis Thursday at like 10 and drove to Atomic, which is in Chillicothe, Ohio. It's like 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I ran a
raced.
wing car there one time.
Got someone spun in front of us. We tore the rear end out of it. So go to the car wash, then go to Eldora, unload at Eldora, and we're up to like 5 in the morning, putting a new rear end in, all that. Get up at 9, 10 in the morning to finish everything, tires, all the other shit. Make sure the rear is square, like finish doing all that stuff. And then like tearing the bolts out of the broken stuff and whatnot. Raced at Eldora, ran 10th, and then we left Eldora it was like 11:30, and we drove to Brownsburg, back to Brownsburg, Indiana. That would have been Friday night, Saturday morning. Got there at 2 a.m., car washed, went to Ayrton's apartment like 5 miles from the car wash, all showered there, left there at like 3:30 in the morning, and drove to Knoxville, Iowa, which was like another 6.5. We got to Knoxville at 10 a.m. When we left Indy, Ayrton drove for like 4.5, 5 hours while I slept, and then we switched. And then when we got to Knoxville at like 10, unloaded, maintenance everything, oil, whatever. It took us like 4 hours. I took like a 2-hour nap, and then we rolled into Knoxville and raced at Knoxville that night. And then we left Knoxville and drove to Huset's, which is in Brandon, South Dakota. So we I want to say we left at like 1 in the morning after Knoxville, and we got to Huset's like, I don't know, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and slept. And then we got up, maintenance throughout the day, raced, whatever. Had a right front spindle break in the feature, like destroyed the car. So a couple of Brad Sweet's guys helped us like get a rear end in it, front end in it, all that, loaded up and drove like straight from there. Whatever. We left 1 or 2 in the morning and drove straight back to Indy and got back to Indy at 2 p.m. Monday. So it was like just over 4.5 days. It was 1,980 miles, 30 hours of driving.
That's
4
crazy.
races.
God damn.
The only story
really
I have
not
close
fucking
to that.
anything to show for it.
Yeah,
Not anything.
the only story that I have close to that is when I was working for Andretti's. We did the Eastern Storm, and I forget where it was at, but we were way too fucking tight for qualifying. I'm not gonna name drop on the crew chief that we had at the time.
Right?
But yeah, no. Wait, what?
Have you ever heard of a car being cripe tight?
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't him. It was.
That's why I was just guessing.
But we biked
Fuck
up
'em.
in qualifying, came over, it plowed the fucking wall and just it ripped the rear end out of it, fucked it all up, and it had some frame damage. John, somebody there in Pennsylvania had told us that there was a chassis shop nearby that we could go to, so we're there at like 2 in the morning trying to fix this fucking thing, and they finally get the frame fixed, and I remember resquaring a rear end in this car at 5 a.m. in a car wash bay We had it up on
Yep.
stands in the middle of a car wash bay, using the lights in the car wash bay to resquare it. Went and raced the next night, and we were both just like, all three of us were just like, we're not having fun up here. This fucking sucks. It was a Friday night, and we're like, after this race, we're going back home. So we literally had everything fucking loaded up. Jarrett rolled out on the track, and we already had everything loaded up in the trailer to make the long haul back home to Indiana. And
You
we
wonder who you're
rolled.
talking to.
Hey,
Dad, what's going on there?
In the back. But we rolled the car right up in the trailer, ratchet strapped it down. Jared actually changed in the truck, and then we headed down back to Indiana. We drove. I think we took shifts, like 3 or 4 hours at a time. I think it was like a 12-hour haul, and then we got back to Indiana, unloaded the car, washed it, maintenance in the parking lot, and then went down to Lawrenceburg and won the feature that night. So
Yeah.
it was
It's
but yeah, it
yeah.
was.
People don't quite understand how much is going on.
I thought John
Who
was
knows?
gonna kill me one time, dude. So like, I had only been working with him since like December, January, just kind of like a little trial. They brought me into the shop just to see what I could do, have me do some building front ends and shit like that. And then they hired me in February, the first part of February. And of course, we're getting ready to go down to Florida. And like, I've hauled a trailer before, but it's all local shit. It's always been, we had a 48-foot gooseneck that we traveled. We had like 2 or 3 TQs at one time, but it was always like 45 minutes down the road or an hour down the road. So John takes the first shift. We change over sometime, and like it was kind of getting. I mean, it was night. It was getting dark down in Tennessee, and he's like, "You go ahead and take a shift and drive now." I was like, "All right, cool." And he sticks my ass in the fucking mountains of Tennessee, and it's pouring down rain, pitch black, and we're going down these big ass fucking hills that's got like the escape routes, like the little sand traps and shit. And it got to the point, dude, it was shaking the whole fucking front of the truck because it was getting the brakes so fucking wore out on the truck. I'm reaching down and squeezing the fucking brakes on the trailer, trying to get them to try and pull back. I was about to shit my pants. I had never driven anything like that before. And here I am, fucking not even 2 weeks into my hire on with them, and they're sticking me in their brand new fucking truck with this big 44-foot trailer, fucking $250,000 worth of shit in the back.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah, and there's cars
Going down the road,
everywhere.
because there's some. Dude, it amazes me that people even fucking get where they're going on the road. Like, people are so stupid on roads. It's insane to me that, like, I see shit and I'm like, I don't know how people like even get to where they're going ever.
Yeah. John and like
Ridiculous.
you got to be on the offense too, because like when John was driving, John drove most of the time, but we had a big Window World trailer that was like their big
Yeah.
sponsor, and it didn't say Window World Racing or anything. I mean, if you were to see it rolling down the road, if you didn't know who it was, you would think that it was literally a window company with a trailer full of windows making a delivery, and like. John
Yeah.
was very like he would drive on the offense all the time. I mean, if he needs to get over, he's fucking getting over.
Yeah.
And like people be blaring their
Yeah,
fucking
people
horns
move.
and shit, and he'd be like, "Well, selling some windows." Like that's what he called it. Every time he'd cut somebody off, he'd call it selling windows. I said, "How many times have you talked to your guys as a Window World sponsor, and like they've been like getting phone calls and shit from somebody in this white GMC fucking cutting them off?"
So I don't
He's
put
like,
anything on my trailer. So I don't put anything
yeah,
on there.
yeah.
I have to
But I
send you. I have
I
to
don't
send
even
you.
put
I
on.
have to send you a sticker and just got off podcast sticker. That way we can take the heat for your shit.
Yeah.
I'm getting too old to fight anymore.
Remember, I was gonna fight Shane Cottle at Terre Haute for you guys. Remember that?
Oh, fuck that too. That's let's talk about that. Do you have anybody like that's one guy that even if I'm in the wrong or he's in the wrong, I'm just gonna be like,
It's all right.
I'm
It's
not
fine.
squaring up with him. It's all right, Shane. We'll just try again next week. But is there anybody that like when you roll up to a track that gives you like an intimidation factor? that kind of worries you
No,
a
I
little bit?
mean, pretty much everybody could, like, I would say, like, I'm losing any fight I get in. So I already know that, but I'm pretty mouthy. Like, I just don't really, like, if I have something to say, I will say it, like with, like, I don't really care about the repercussions, to be honest.
I like
Most
that.
people aren't going to hit me. Like,
Most
it's,
of them aren't these
well,
days. You're
some
right.
people will,
Everybody wants to talk
but,
shit. There's very few that are actually
but
gonna throw down.
it's more that, like, they're just, I feel like no matter what, I win because I'm not. I'm a little. So like I'm a little bit. I'm taller than Rico, but like I'm second. Like I'm the second smallest for sure. So you're an asshole. Like if you fight me or like you punch whatever, like you're just a dick because you have an
What are you
obvious
gonna pick it on the little
unfair
guy
advantage.
for?
It's
Like,
true. How tall are you?
either I'm on my best day 5'1".
Get the fuck out of here!
So like
I'm
you
a
just
full fucking foot and an inch taller than this guy.
yeah, it sounds fucked
Wow.
up, to say it
Wow.
that way, but like it's just my whole life that's kind of been the reality. People don't, like
And I knew he was
I
little,
mean,
like
if I
last
had
time.
$1 for every time somebody was like, next time I'm gonna fucking bash your teeth in, like, well, why not this time, buddy? Let's fucking, like I'm tired of getting told that.
Yeah, just
Um,
fucking shut the fuck
I
up
don't
and
know.
be a man about it. Just put
And
your
it's
money
see,
where your mouth is.
I
Fuck
think
out of
that's
my
the
pit
thing.
area,
I
really.
think that's the thing where like when I first met him and he walked up with Gage, I honestly thought he was like Gage's little sister because Gage has like the little flowy hair, and then here comes Zach and he's got the real long hair, and I'm just like,
I took the liberty of scrolling through your Twitter a little bit, and I gotta say that I was like, man, I don't know about having this emo fucking race car driver on our fucking podcast. I was like, man, this guy's hair is like, and I had long hair too,
You
but I
have to
had
go.
like rock and roll. Like I was trying to get some like old pictures of like some race cars and stuff, and there wasn't nothing on there, and then it was just a fucking rabbit hole, and I was like, oh
No,
my
not on
god.
Twitter. Man,
it's
you'd have
like
to go an awful far way down to find some pictures of me with long hair because that's been like 7 years.
2014, I think, is when that was when I was out there with him.
Yeah,
So
15 or 16.
yeah.
I was
I
probably
people
that
with
far
long
down.
hair, guys with long hair are compensating for hair loss. But they are gonna hit that point where
No.
they're gonna look like that bad guy off of Dennis the Menace that fucking visits the park and shit. Like you're just missing all kinds of. It's real fucking patchy.
Damn it. That's not me. I had long hair just because
Yeah.
I was in a rock band, so I don't have any receding hairlines or anything. Man, that blows my mind that you're 5'1", dude. Like I'll say right now on your camera, you don't look like you're 5'1". You look like you're 6'1" standing there with the
That's
camera
why he's
angle.
got it. That's why he's got it in the vertical form instead of the landscape.
The horror's landscape, right?
Yeah.
I kind of, I kind of feel bad.
He's a bulky though, dude. I mean,
He's got some mass
stocked
to
up.
him. Yeah, I mean, he's not fat grandpa like me, but
I was fat. I was fucking fat for a long time.
Were you one of those kids that like in elementary school that like I was like this, to where like they made fun of me because I was so fat in elementary school? Were you one of those kids?
No, like
or?
elementary school, like I had a 6-pack when I was 6. Like I was ripped, like because I was active and everything. But when everyone hit puberty and grew, like everyone kind of got chubby and then they grew up and they got
Right.
skinny again. I never did that. I just got chubby and then I wasn't growing anymore. So
Right.
I stayed chubby and then kind of just fat.
So are
And
both
then,
your parents short?
Yeah, my mom's like 4'9", 4'10". My dad's 5'2", 5'3".
Holy cow!
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't
So I'm
stand
like
a
right where I
chance.
was.
Yeah, you were hosed
No.
before you even thought of
See,
See, I was
existing.
kind of the lucky one. Both of my parents are like 5'7" and I'm 6 foot even. So
Yeah.
And I'm taller
Put
than
my foot in, I guess.
John, so
yeah.
I kind of feel like we need to link
Yeah.
up John and like just go run security for this guy at his hauler, at a race. Like
There's
let
nights
him
I've
talk
needed
a bunch of shit and then
He said there's nights I've needed. I bet, dude.
let's go.
bet.
I'm ready, dude. Zach Hampton, I got your fucking back, man. I'll fight anybody in the pits. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring Keith Bradley with me too.
If
Fuck 'em.
anything, we'll just hold you back and make it look like you're just a bad son of
You're
a
a
bitch
fucking
pulling
little
away from us or
Tasmanian
something.
devil
Yeah.
ready to gnaw somebody's
Yeah.
kneecaps
No,
off.
I've really only had. I mean, I've had people coming down like hollering and shit, but I've only had one where like, it was the biggest bitch move ever on their part. But they're banned from Lernerville for life. I'll just leave it at that.
I got to do a little bit of research.
Huh.
You'd have a tough time, finding out. It was pathetic.
You'll have to tell us off air.
Yeah, you can tell us off air. We promise we won't. We promise we won't share.
Yeah.
So we can actually
you want
go into some of the episode now.
Yeah, do you want to play a little game with us here, Zach? You want to play a little game of Would You Rather?
Fuck it, yeah, sure.
All right, I love it. John, let him have it.
Oh, shit.
So usually I do some Would You Rathers. Oh,
all right.
I'm gonna bring one back from another episode at the end here. But would you rather peel all your fingernail or all the nails out of your fingers, or pull all your teeth out of your mouth?
God. I guess I'm gonna go fingernails. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
would
either would be
too.
very
Yeah.
fun. But
Yeah. Oh God,
I'm
mouth
going
pain is.
fingernails. I don't know if anyone's ever had like tooth pain, but that shit is like crippling.
That's not fun. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna go with fingernails as well.
Would you
I
rather?
think it would be incredibly uncomfortable, but
Oh yeah, both are gonna suck really bad. Would you rather have foot-long fingers or 1-inch fingers? Well, you've already got the 1-inch fingers, don't you?
I mean,
you got little hands, or do you? I mean, you got some.
Yeah.
Golly.
No, I mean, I would say they're little. I would say they're proportional, which would make them small. I would say 1-inch.
Yeah, those little.
I think you could get more accomplished. I think
what is that?
foot-long
Slender
fingers,
Man?
like you're just gonna be fucking shit up.
There's a thing on YouTube called salad fingers. If you want to know what it's like to have long fingers, look at salad fingers.
With real long fingernails. Have you ever seen them try to accomplish anything?
There was somebody. Yeah, I forget where I was the other day, but I seen somebody that had they were like 5 or 6 inch fingernails.
Yeah, it's like.
What are you doing with those? Like they were trying to open up a door. They were trying to pull on a door handle, and it's like.
Yeah, not working. You got that right.
That can't be fun every day of your life, having to be so fucking cautious.
You know,
Just so you don't snap one off.
One of the most annoying things for me is, how everything has a touch screen now. It's all based on an iPad, right? So you go to like Casey's gas station, and there's the gal in there at the gas station. She's like, okay, pump 6, and she's fucking tapping on the screen, and all you hear is click, 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 click. I want to fucking punch everything in that fucking gas station. Especially when I'm standing in line like 12 people deep. God damn it.
They'll get rid of them motherfuckers. They make them like the cell phone where like your fingernail doesn't work on it. Like it has to be like your finger.
Mm-hmm.
Your fingernail gets in the way long enough. Some of them bitches will be wanting to text their baby daddies and stuff again. Would you rather that every time you finish up doing the deed that you shit yourself or you vomit?
I absolutely hate throwing up.
I've heard a similarity of this one before on Barstool. I'm gonna go vomit. I feel like I can control the outcome of that a little bit better.
I don't want to shit my pants,
I hate throwing up so much, but I think I would rather vomit too.
Yeah, nobody wants to shit their pants.
Technically, you wouldn't shit your pants. You wouldn't have any on, but
that's true. But
right.
that almost makes it worse.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So, and then I got the one that I'm gonna bring from a past episode that seems to be a pretty controversial one. Would you rather stick a toothpick underneath your toenail and kick a wall as hard as you can, or eat the sandwich filled with the boogers of 100 people?
Sandwich.
Yeah, dude, I said the same thing.
I mean, that's like, I'm sorry, that one's as disgusting as that is. I'm not, dude. No, toenail. Fuck that.
Yeah, I think Daniel.
I've walked into a coffee table.
Yeah,
and I was ready to end my life.
Yeah, I'm picking the toothpick because I don't want fucking nothing to do with them 100 people.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you eat that sandwich, you can puke. You're gonna be disgusted with yourself, but it's done. It's over. It's over with. You don't have to worry about it. That toothpick is gonna fuck your toe up for the next few. You may have to have surgery.
All right, man.
That's just gonna hurt walking on for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just not a big would you rather fan because I feel like it's a stupid game. It forces me to pick something that would never happen. So it's like
Well, you're in the wrong fucking podcast, Zach. What the fuck, dude?
I don't know.
What about
Nah,
history? Do you like
yeah.
Do you
I
like
mean,
history?
It's a cool game. I don't know. I mean, I don't dislike history, but I
It's
don't
okay.
like read
Today's
history
forgiveness
books.
today. I forgive you for not liking Would You Rathers.
Yeah, it is forgiveness.
Yeah, it is.
I usually do like a little like history type thing. In 1977, today was Elvis Presley's last performance of his career, and it happened in Indianapolis.
In Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I knew that one. I bet actually went.
Yeah,
Yep, I went down to Graceland to where his house was and stuff. That is a fucking badass place.
yeah, it's
That
super
dude
super
had
cool.
it made.
Yep.
Like everything's super fucking awesome. He's got like a jungle room and shit. It's
I guess
pretty
he
wild.
like died on a toilet or something. Did they say how he like died there or whatever?
They'll know, Dano. They really didn't fucking take us and show us that.
No, I mean I'm just asking.
No, I don't remember. I think it was an overdose, wasn't it?
Yeah, he OD'd on something or other, but they found him on the
Could have still
toilet.
happened on a toilet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, most of the time when people do overdose, it's in a bathroom.
That's true. Yeah.
They're in there
Let's see.
doing their deal.
This wasn't today, but today was one of the most boring days in history. Like there was like I don't know, maybe 20 things.
Say that every week.
Seriously, like this week was like, I mean, in 1997, the U.S. Supreme Court upholded the doctor-assisted suicide ban. So you can't go to a doctor and say I want to kill myself, and the doctor would assist you in doing that. It remained banned after that.
What is that called? Like euthanasia, the proper term for that,
Yeah.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. This one's kind of cool. Let me ask you this: who's the greatest basketball player of all time?
Dude,
I
come
mean,
on. Let's not start this argument.
I that's another. Like I don't. I guess you guys say Jordan, right? Like that's probably, but it's hard to compare.
It really
But
is
that's
because
the thing is,
you're talking two different eras of basketball. You know,
yeah, but
the
that's
bad
the
boy
thing
era
is,
and then the flop era. So
everybody compares to who?
right.
Everybody compares to Jordan. They don't compare to Kobe.
Right.
They don't compare to LeBron. Everybody hops back and follows and compares on to Michael.
Right.
You know.
And the big thing
but
is
statistically and like just it was a different era. It's like was Steve the greatest sprint car driver ever to live? Probably, but like he didn't live in the era that we live in now. It's so much harder now. Like
where the talent pool is
like
so
it's
much
different. Yeah, so like would he have done what Steve did now? Like it's just impossible to compare those
absolutely
people.
Great point.
LeBron lives in a different era. Everything about the sport's different.
The rules are different. The fucking technology is different for shoes. I
think for like Jordan and like Kendra, the same thing could be said where like at least for Steve, right? Like almost everyone that was racing, which Steve did too, but like, dude, they weren't working out. They were smoking cigarettes in the car half the time.
In the car,
there was nobody, like people weren't taking it seriously. And now like most of these drivers are in the gym an hour or two every single, every day.
Right.
Even when they race, like, and they're
it's
running,
become a performance athlete.
Eating healthy.
Sport.
They're like, yeah, and like MJ back then was not the only one, but like he was ahead of everyone else. They weren't doing that shit. Like he just outworked them, and you're not outworking anybody.
I mean, I've done some research on him and stuff. Like, he practiced harder than he played.
Like you can't outwork somebody anymore, like because there's only so many hours in a day.
Right.
So like
very,
MJ
very good
did.
point.
He cared about it way more than everybody else.
Right.
I think the argument that I would have is, I feel like Jordan, his toughness would survive better in today's game than LeBron would back then.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Comparing the two, like
you'll never know.
You'll never know. I love the meme
so we flew on that. So what was your history?
It's like the would you rather game. Like, well, what if? Well, I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
We can talk about it all night, but we're never gonna really know. So
Right.
Yeah.
it's
I don't
kind
know.
of-
AI is getting pretty goddamn advanced.
We're
They
not
might
really doing
they might simulate some shit here in the next 25, 30 years. We might actually
Yeah,
know.
but that's simulation. You played
Dude,
iRacing?
the way safety bullshit's going, we're not even gonna be driving these things. We're gonna be fucking. They're just gonna like sell. We're gonna be in a fucking iRacing simulator with the cars out on the racetrack. We're not even gonna be in
Yeah,
them.
it's gonna be like flying a drone.
Yeah, it's gonna be like when
Yeah.
Tyler Kendall and I started that iRacing series in 2020 when COVID happened. Nobody was racing. We put a series together and had a bunch of people come on, and we paid, and it paid out. All through the feature spots and stuff, just so people could get racing. We
There's
had
the
it broadcasted
doggo.
on TV.
Hell yeah.
Come here.
But anyway, the history
Come here.
lesson today was in 2003. LeBron James was the first pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers. 2003.
And he was the last NBA player to be drafted right out of high school, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
In
they-
1870,
yeah,
in 1876 was the Battle of the Little Bighorn, but that was actually yesterday because that was the most historical portion of what happened in history.
That was it, huh?
That's
what
it.
you got?
The Hoosier Dam or the Hoover
Damn.
Dam, 1929.
So I feel like this is something that we got to talk about too, because Dano and I were talking about this the other day. The journey to the Titanic. Did you see anything about that submarine deal?
I mean, I saw shit. I didn't read anything past. All I saw were memes about the controller thing, which I didn't really completely. I mean, I saw like that they tried to take a whatever, but I didn't know anything about it because, quite frankly, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So basically, like 5 people got in a submarine. I think 4 of them paid for it because one of them was actually the owner and CEO, but they paid like $250,000 a piece to go down to the Titanic. People are like running them through the dirt, calling them fucking dumb and all kinds of shit. And it's like, I don't know. You can't really say that. Like to us, to me, yeah, I'm absolutely 100% not getting in a fucking submarine and going down there.
No.
But if you were to ask them, like, I'm definitely not paying $250,000 to do it. But if you ask them, they're not going to spend $250,000 and go hop in your fucking sprint car. It's something that they were passionate about and cared about, just because we don't like the exploration of the Titanic. That's something that they were passionate about and liked. And if that's what they want to spend their fucking $250,000 on, then who are we to tell them no? They probably think we're
all
fucking.
of them were like, to them, like, I mean, I at least saw the rundown of who was on it and like the net worth and like, dude, it was like me going to buy a Happy Meal, like it didn't really.
Yeah, the one guy was a billionaire. The guy and his son.
Them, fucking none. It didn't affect those people, other than like financially at least. I mean, they're dead now, so it affected them in some manner. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think would it be cool if like some other people did it and then like it was safe and I could go on that tour for cheap? Would I do it? Probably. That's kind of cool, but I don't know. I don't understand people's fascination with like getting in large bodies of water.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah, see,
I don't mind
I don't
like
mind swimming on the shoreline.
Like it's pitch black down there. Like other than your lights, it's black down there, and there's shit that we don't even know. Like, why would you possibly want to go down there?
Yeah, in a little boat. There's big shit down there.
There's a reason they haven't brought that thing up. Like it's probably because we shouldn't be down there.
Yeah,
we don't have technology
one is
to go
fucking
down there and bring it up.
Yeah. It's physically impossible
that's
to do.
Where I was
People
going
think
with it
3
too.
miles doesn't sound very far. Like we're not talking 3 miles that way. Like it's 3 miles straight down. Like
yeah, you're not talking across the cornfield.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
and see, and the thing that I was going with this too is I saw a TikTok of a guy that he's a fucking genius with science and pressures and all kinds of shit, and he was kind of breaking it down, and he was saying that far down into water, per square inch for each person in there was 18 million pounds per square inch of of pressure on them. He
18
said,
fucking million.
Well, not the people because they were in the box, but on the
on the outside.
itself.
18 million pounds of pressure. He said when that thing popped, it happened within a millisecond. Your brain like your vision processes things in 13 milliseconds. So that thing
Yeah.
collapsed and had fucking crushed them before they even saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it
No,
was
yeah.
that
It's
fucking fast.
I would imagine like it's the pressure is insane. You know, like as a human, you can only go so far, like before like your lungs actually would implode.
Yeah,
Right.
and like somebody was saying, like I wouldn't mind. Like we had a would you rather on here a while back that was would you rather be in a submarine and have to live underwater for a year or be in a space shuttle and be in our galaxy for a year, and I would much rather be in a submarine, not to the depths that they were, but just for the safety factor that if anything goes wrong, most of those have the onboard inflatables that will pull you back up. That they, you know,
Right.
but it has to be like a lot of people don't understand too that you have to slowly go up and you have to stay in that excuse me, you have to be in that submarine for a while to decompress because the pressure changes so fucking much like if you come up too fast.
Forget
Yeah.
what that's called.
I don't know how much decompressing you have to do when you're inside like a submarine because the pressure on the inside should still be the same as like the pressure on the outside.
Right.
So I'm honestly I don't know. I don't think you have to do that much. Like I think you have to be way down before you have to worry about decompressing when you're in a submarine. Like as a person, if you like scuba dive and you go down, like you have to take intervals as you come up. Um, or basically the oxygen gets into your blood and then to your heart and then dead, like
Yeah.
or brain. Maybe it's your brain. It puts oxygen into your brain and like it kills you, or like you have a aneurysm, whatever, something like that. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Like I feel like if you're in a submarine, there's not as much decompressing
Right.
because like the pressure's on the outside of the submarine, not on you.
I just thought it was crazy
But
how
I
people
don't
were
know.
just
I don't know how they get oxygen into a submarine. I don't know.
I think I mean it's just like this is pretty morbid. I think it's kind of just like being buried alive. What you have in that, and I guess it is pretty fucked up. So I work in a casket company. Like I paint caskets all day, like 600 of them a day. But it it's just like if you get buried alive, whatever oxygen you have in that casket is all you have. Once you are out,
Yeah.
you are
Right.
out. And I think that's the same purpose. That's why they were saying they only had a limited time before the available oxygen that they had. I'm sure they had it in tanks, and then they just
Yeah.
had the tanks
However
kind of
that
pumping
works.
it in there. And then once tanks are out, you're basically breathing, what is that, carbon dioxide or whatever that you
Yeah.
breathe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's yeah. I just thought it was kind of wild.
Yeah.
People were just dragging them through the fucking mud, man. Like those are human lives, and just because it's not something that you would do doesn't mean you got to be a dick about it. Like,
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I didn't read that much into it. I heard the basics, but like, because at the end of the day, really, it didn't affect me, and not just like that sucks that people died, but like, I don't give a shit.
It
Like
kind of
it
freaked
had
me
nothing
out.
to do with me. It has affected my life, none. Like in any way has it affected my
Yeah.
life. So I
I
just
feel
don't really,
I feel like you
like
got to put a shell behind that sprint car behind you right now, and just kind of make your own submersible.
Submersible.
Yeah.
To print you off an
Yeah.
Ocean Gate sticker and put it on the fucking side of that thing.
Don't fucking do that. That's
It-
too soon.
Too soon. No, it's not. It's 2023,
God.
dude. They had memes about that shit with the Xbox controller. Please reconnect to controller.
Before we even knew they were
Before
dead.
they even knew they were dead, they were fucking with them people. So
Yeah, like
Dude, the internet-
nobody
they
gives a
trust
fuck
is a
anymore.
brutal
You
place.
know, for the internet
it
being
is.
such
The
a
internet
brutal
will
place.
always win.
Yeah.
The internet always
ruthless.
wins.
It's ruthless.
For it being such a brutal place, there's people that get butthurt way too fucking easy.
Yeah.
Oh, god
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah, that there is.
I lost word.
What was your topic for the night, Dano?
Just sitting here talking to this razor. That's pretty much what I was gonna do. I really didn't have anything to talk
man.
about.
You got any questions for us? Honestly, I mean, we've been handing all kinds of questions out to you.
No, probably not. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't really given it much thought.
Do you have any merch out?
Yeah, actually, Friday I just got my Shopify up. So the shirt's on there now, but I just ran out of some sizes when I put it up. And then I just got a text. Martha Ayrton's girlfriend is actually the one that set up a Shopify for me. I'm putting my crew shirts on there. I've got short sleeve and long sleeve. And she just texted me, so I don't know if she put them up, if she was saying they are up or what, but they will be in the next day or two. And then I've got new shirts in the process. I'll probably have them by Eldora. And then I'm gonna do either some crew necks. I'll probably do some crew necks. And then I gotta find something else. I'm gonna do some koozies maybe, and then I might do some like mini wing boards. I put a Twitter poll out like 2 days ago, and then had people reply with what they wanted to see, and I saw quite a bit of stuff. But it's kind of a big investment for a guy like me because I sit on it for however long, and I don't know how much I will or won't sell. So it's kind of hard to buy too much.
Right. Right.
But now that I can sell it online and I don't have to rely on like, there's a lot of nights where like at the racetrack, either fans don't come to the pits or like I got a 10-hour drive to Iowa, so I can't hang around, at Eldora and, wait for people to maybe come by and buy a shirt or whatever. Like, so I had to load up. So being able to sell stuff online makes that better. So I'm going to get some more. But yeah, if you go to my Twitter, which is like Zach_Hampton35, there's a link on my whatever.
I think Dano's nerd ass has already found it. He's already linked your 3.5 Racing at myshopify.com, right?
Yep, and the Twitter handle just went up as well.
Yeah, so he's already thrown all that up there. Yeah, one thing that I would request too that so I've got my little station set up here at the house for where I'm streaming, and I've been collecting like the sprint car stickers, just like the die cut stickers.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some done.
Fuck yeah, do that. I need to add
like just with the car and like my name or something on it or whatever.
Sweet.
Perfect. That's what I'm trying to do. The whole desk I plan to eventually cover with nothing but just sprint car stickers and stuff. So
yeah. Yeah, no,
yeah.
I'm gonna get some of those. There's a new deal coming out called Dirt Crowd. There's probably like 10 drivers on it right now. CV's on there, Cannon McIntosh, Rico. Like it's kind of in the development stages right now, so it's not anyone can sign up. Eventually, it's going to be like anyone can. But right now, they're just doing like select guys to get it rolling, and that'll have stuff on there. So like basically, what they're doing is it's more of a monthly subscription. You can do one time like payments, but like so there'd be like a $5 like if you wanted to support a driver for $5 a month. Like say like if I think on mine my I don't have my notes for it here. It'll be like a sticker and like a whatever autographed, I don't remember what it was, for like $5 a month. And then there's like a $25 a month, which is like a shirt every 3 months. Like if you're keep paying, like if you're recurring, whatever, every 3 months, like you'll get the new shirt design and you get everything from the first year, whatever. And it's just a way for like, it's to help bridge a gap for people who just want to support whatever driver,
Sure,
whoever their favorite driver is.
That's super
pretty cool. Yeah,
it's kind of
basically like a subscription.
Like a guy like me, even Rico, probably not Rico, like he has so many designs, but I know other drivers who, let's say like Schoenberg, I'm pretty good buddies with him, and like he gets new shirt design every month, 2 months, whatever. I know that they've had people where like they come up, they're like, oh, I already have one of all your shirt designs, like, but here's $50, like, for you guys to buy dinner. What, like, they still want to support. So
sure, it's like a Patreon.
It's basically like what it is, or like a OnlyFans for drivers, only to get whatever out of it, like.
Oh yeah,
and
it really is, yeah.
Someone to support someone that they enjoy watching race, but like maybe they can't they can't write a $10,000 check to have their name on the car,
Right.
but like they could do $5 a month or $20, whatever it is, like, and then you get something out of it. So, and there's
Yeah, and
like
I
multiple
watched a
tiers,
guy
whatever. Every driver's
earlier this
different their
year.
own.
I watched a guy earlier this year at Lawrenceburg. I was sitting over there talking to T-Mez, and guy walked up and said, "Hey, like, I don't want to share anything. I just want to help you out." And he gave him $100 bill. He said, "Just use this to help you with whatever you need or
Yeah.
whatever." He
Right.
said,
Yeah.
I just want to support you and help you out." That's really cool. I mean, people.
Yeah, there's
That,
been
the racing family is fucking wild, dude. Like it's the support is just crazy.
it is. Like I always say, like I've met the best, like the best people I've ever met and the worst people I've ever met in racing.
Yeah,
Like in every
you're
aspect
right.
of racing, it's just like it's wild,
Yeah.
but
So
ups and downs.
John mentioned the iRacing thing that we did during COVID, and a friend of mine who I play in a band with his dad now, Brandon Moore, he came up and
Oh yeah, I know Brandon.
yeah, he came up and used my computers to do the iRacing USAC iRacing Invitational League, and just same situation we were just talking about. Like I would love more than anything to write a huge fucking check to any one of you guys, and say, here, fucking go have fun, go fucking break everything you
Yeah.
possibly can. But I can't. So, whatever
Yeah.
I can do to help out is whatever I can do. And as a thank you for, him being able to use my computers and stuff, he's put my gaming channel sticker on the side visor of the car. And then when the season was over, gave me the side visor.
Yep.
So, just simple stuff like that. I mean, make a sticker with your top 20 Patreon whatever's, and have them sign a sticker and fucking put it on the car, That shit's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Man.
No, there's a few packages, whatever. I got, creative with some of that stuff, but it's yeah, I don't know. That deal's gonna be rolling out too. Eventually. I think last night they said they were testing my page and whatnot. So that should be coming up pretty soon. And I think everyone will start to see more of that as that grows. Like I said, it's pretty new. And I'm one
What'd
of
you
the
call it again? What'd they say it was called?
it's called Dirt Crowd.
Dirt Crowd.
DIRTCROWD. Yeah. Like if you just type in Dirt Crowd, I want to say there's I know there's Canon, Rico, CV, I don't know her name. I do. Elizabeth something Phillips or something. She's like out of like Nebraska area, I think, or
It looks
something
like they've
that.
got about 15 drivers on here.
Yeah,
Rico, Aiden
yeah.
Parrish, Logan CV, Cannon McIntosh, Frank Flood, Sean Mahaffey, Garrett Benson, Jack Dover, Christian Kennison, Elizabeth Phillips, Aubrey Joe Sappington, and Taylor Courtney.
Yep.
There's a couple others here on the list as well. So.
Yeah, they're kind of like just trying to get a mixture of micros, midgets, sprint cars, whatever, like and a whatever variety around. And then once they kind of get the kinks and stuff worked out and all that, like they're gonna start opening it to like anyone can sign up and stuff. So
pretty sick.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
It's a cool deal, and like every driver gets to customize like their levels. Some might only have a $5 and a $10 option. Some like I have a 5, I want to say a 25, a 50, 100, and then like a 250, which it's obviously not a lot of people would do that, but like the 250 option I want to say is like allows people to come to the track and like hang out, watch on, stand on top of the trailer and watch, stuff like that. Like people just want to be able to be involved or feel like they're part of a team or whatever, and that's kind of what they're doing with that, is trying to make that bridge that gap, I guess.
That's pretty sick. That's pretty cool.
That's a pretty cool idea. I mean, honestly, because like I said, I've seen it happen where people just hand them cash. So to be able to do something like that, it goes directly to them, and like you said, they could just ship a shirt every 2 or 3 months or whatever. That's a pretty cool deal. I mean, it's almost man, it's crazy how the evolution of sports has came around. Because like you said before, in order to sell T-shirts, you had to sit there forever, like after the races when fans could actually come down to the pits and stuff. And you were there late nights just to even sell a few T-shirts, and now it's all
Now everyone's got a
through an app.
$40,000 T-shirt trailer.
Yeah, sitting out front. They've got somebody running that, wives, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and
Girlfriend, chick, like just like whoever,
pit
another driver's
lizard.
girlfriend, like like it's just and that kind of goes into the whole racing whatever community thing. Like we're all whatever. We all know each other like so well, and it's a
Well,
small world.
one thing
So
that's also cool too is some of those guys that do have the T-shirt trailers, like most of them aren't opposed to sticking somebody else's stuff up there too and handling it for them and helping a guy out too. That they're
yeah,
not.
like Jessica Schoenberg is like when I did what'd you do it for? Summer's PA Speed Week, maybe? No. I don't know. Last year there's a few times like when I was at an all-star race or whatever, like I could take Jess my couple boxes of shirts and like she would hang one up and that way I could just tweet like, hey, this is where they're at, whatever. And
You don't have to
yeah,
worry
like
about it.
yeah, and it's like I just hey keep $5 from every shirt, or whatever, like, and I don't have a ton of merch, so I could do that. Now, if someone who did have a full T-shirt trailer, like what, like Hunter lost his T-shirt trailer and then needed to put it somewhere, like that's a lot harder to do. But
Right.
yeah, Pex, Justin's, I don't, what's her name? It's his crew chief's wife that runs his T-shirt trailer, Sky. I think it's Sky. She did it at Nationals for me last year. I just put my stuff in there. I think Van at the time. So yeah, like a lot of them are pretty good about that kind of stuff. But it seems like almost everybody, or a lot of people, have a pretty nice T-shirt trailer these days. There's so much money in sprint cars right now, or all racing, dirt track. It's just absurd the amount of money that's being spent. But it's good, for the sport for now.
For now. I was asking John a while back, episode 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. Do you think we'll ever get to a point to where like dirt track racing just becomes like irrelevant, or do you see it as like the feeder system still for bigger franchises?
I don't think it's a feeder system. I mean, right now the door's closed. Like other than maybe one or two guys, maybe. But like the door to NASCAR right now is closed, right? Like,
Right.
like I don't even watch NASCAR. Usually, like the couple guys that I do know that I grew up racing with or whatever, like usually when I talk to them, I just make fun of them for driving NASCAR. Like I don't watch. Like obviously stuff pops up on my timeline. So, if Bell wins or Larson or Jones, Eric, whatever, like one of the guys I raced with a lot and know,
Sure.
like I'll text them, hey, congrats or whatever, but I do not watch it. But like there's not old guys left, right? Like everyone's young,
Right.
whether they got there, how Kyle and Chris did, or like whether they bought their way in, like everyone's young. There's just not, I don't see a lot of like new guys coming in. So that door is closed, but I think dirt racing's become its own thing. Like I think it's grown to something where like it's not a feeder, but it's enough of its own thing that it doesn't really matter what
Yeah, it's pretty
NASCAR
self-sufficient.
and all that
Yeah,
does.
I
Yeah, like
agree.
it doesn't. So
Yeah.
I don't see how it could go irrelevant other than just I
And
don't know.
And I don't think that's anything that dirt racing itself did. I think NASCAR kind of did that to itself.
Yeah, I agree.
With them changing the things.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. A lot of it's
I
the
still think
streaming.
the chase for the cup or the playoffs and shit. I still think that's personal opinion. I think that's dumb.
I think the stages are dumb.
Yeah,
Like
breaking
I
all
can't
that
tell you
stuff
the last
down.
time I watched a lap of NASCAR.
It's bad. Like it's not like the Winston Cup where you race if there's a caution you're on caution, but
Mhm.
they have like stages now where they break it down. They throw a NASCAR caution and you get points for if you're leading or second or third in that stage. But then you got the playoffs and I don't know, man. Like you could literally kick ass all fucking year long.
And then
Win
not,
every fucking
and yeah,
race and then just have one bad race in the playoff and you're out. And it's just like what the fuck, man? Like I've got enough points all through the year that I should have had this championship locked up before we even got here.
It doesn't
But then
reward.
you've also got guys that don't do shit all year and they get lucky and win one race. And they're
Yeah.
locked into the playoffs, and somebody else who is consistent doesn't win a race but is consistent and don't make it in.
It
at
doesn't.
all.
It doesn't reward any type of consistency or attrition for the whole season.
like
At
every
all.
other racing
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah.
like
Like Brady
Yeah.
Bacon just fucking top fives you to death all year long. You know,
yeah.
like he's consistent. That's why he wins fucking championships. It's like there's none of that in NASCAR. Like John and I watched what we watched at the beginning of the season. We watched Daytona, and we watched Talladega. We watched the super speedways. We watched the big high profile races.
I like,
But
I
other
like
than that-
Bristol and Martinsville. I like the short track
Yeah.
shit where there's actually shit going on. But aside from that, we're sitting here with I don't know how many fucking screens Dano's got now, but I've got dual monitors and a TV hooked up to this fucking computer. And most times we got 3 different racing series of dirt lined up, you know. Yeah, there's
I'm
Dano's.
usually at the track and watching wherever I'm at, and then I've got flow or dirt vision on the TV in the trailer, whatever
Yeah.
I'm not at.
Yeah. You know,
Hell yeah.
Actually,
we,
usually I have the race I'm at. Honestly, I would say actually 9 times out of 10, whatever race I'm at, that's what's on the TV. Like I don't know. I try not to watch other races when I'm at a race. Like
how much do you learn from that as if you are at the race and they've got the broadcast? How much do you learn? I mean, does that save you from having to go up to the track and actually see like where the
no,
moisture
like you
is?
still go
Or
up to the track, but you know, like I would say most of us watch on our phone, like for qualifying. You know, like up until like you're about to push off, you toss it out the side of your crew guy or whatever. You know, like that helps a lot because you can see like if the track. It doesn't help at a place where it's like, okay, we're gonna Peevely. Okay, Peevely is the same every single time you qualify there. Like you run the same, like it's gonna be the same every time. Like no matter how worn out it gets, you do the same thing. It's around. You're never gonna be on the inside at Peevely to qualify. Like you're gonna be on the dirt, wherever the dirt's at, however far up it's moved. Like that's
Yeah.
what you're gonna do. But like Eldora or Knoxville, it'll go like 2-3 cars. You got to be on the top, and then like the next 2 or 3 cars, you got to be on the bottom, or you got to be on the bottom down here and top up there, and like so you can watch
slider line or
that.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I would say rarely is it a slider line. Honestly, like I think Logan Schuart's the only one that can pull that off at Eldora because it's just you're going up banking, which slows you down. You know, like it's just not physics wise is the opposite of what you should do. But yeah, you're able to watch that. So like I don't think it keeps you from having to go look at the track because you got to be able to see the actual dirt, like and
The
see
consistency of it.
the change, the color
Right.
change, or whatever. I'm not a big fan of like I don't go out stomping on the track trying to see how much traction I can get with my foot because I don't have a freaking Hoosier tire on my foot. Like that doesn't do anything for me. But like just seeing the change or like if it's dusty or dirty on the bottom, like you can't see that on the like they're not zooming in and it's a camera lens with racetrack Wi-Fi, so it's not like that good. But you can see where guys are running. You don't have to see the whatever. So it helps. I think it can hurt too. Like I try not to watch too many guys qualify. I think you get in your head a little bit. I try to watch the few guys ahead, like right ahead of me that are good and see what they do. If it's changed any, but yeah, I don't know. Different for everybody.
So much,
Who are some
so much
guys-
technology involved now.
Yeah, who are some guys? We'll wrap this up here in just a second. We're running pretty deep into it, but who are some guys that like you kind of look up to, like that you race with in the series that you look up to? Is I don't know if it's one of those that I haven't been around it for a while, so I don't know how the wing guys even deal with it, but or how much they share information or help one another, but like who's one guy that you look up to try and follow and compare yourself to of like other than like Larson when you roll up to the track like man that's the guy to beat, that's who I need to watch. And
there's a lot of guys I know like if I go up to if there's say I'm in group 5 of hot laps, I go up to walk to the fence and there's group 1s on the track. Those guys that I go, okay, like I'll watch that car go around and that car, the rest of them I don't really care. But like I don't think there's anybody that I would say like I look up to or that I think, oh, that's the guy to beat right there. Like when I walk into the racetrack, true or not, like I'm the guy to beat. Like I don't, like you walk in with the mindset of, oh, he's the guy to beat. He's probably going to beat you. Like
Right.
that's just how it works. Like
Yep.
if you think that guy can beat you, he probably will. Like that's why like it's so hard to run with the Outlaws because I know in my head that guy's better than me. So whether I'm ahead of him or behind him at the time, whatever, like I know in my head and I'm going to make mistakes because of it, or I'm going to drive a certain way because of it. Whereas like if I don't know who it is behind me, or if I think it's whoever, I think it's some local, like, and I see the nose, like I'm not going to let him by. But if I see a nose and I know that it's Brad Sweet's nose, Brad's probably going to get by me. It's just so like you can't. I think you can't. As a race car driver, we're also I don't know, arrogant. I guess that it's. I don't know. I don't know that there is anybody that I like look up to. I know what guys are fast or like. I don't want to be behind this guy when we fire off when we go green for hot laps. I better get behind somebody else. This guy's going to slow me down. Or he's going to be in the way. But I don't know that there's anybody like in today's world that I race with that I like. I would say like I look up to. There's guys that I know are better than me, and I hope one day I'm as good as them. But I don't know that it's like a look up to him. I guess I don't know.
I think that's it, man. Is there
That's
anything
interesting.
else?
I
Yeah.
figured there would have been at least one guy that was be like, I'm gonna watch this guy and see what he does.
He named him. He's Brad Sweet.
I mean, there
Right.
are
He's
guys
tough.
that like, but there's nobody that I'm like, oh, they're on the track. I better go watch. Like, I mean,
Sure.
Right.
because
Right.
because I'm not them, and I'm never gonna be them. Like Brad Sweet is in his own way as good. Like on any given night, him and Larson could go either way and gravel and shots and like
Right.
there's 10 guys that could. So to go, oh, I look up to just this guy. I mean, like other than Larson, I mean, that like Larson's gonna be good every night, but like so are those other 10 guys.
Yeah. You
Right.
you
They're gonna
probably
be good.
take something from each individual driver from wherever it
Yeah.
might be.
Like and like they might suck that night, not suck. Those guys never suck, but they might, 8th place to them suck. So like
Right.
I
Yeah,
can't
that's
go,
a
oh,
bad
Brad
night for
Sweet's
them.
on the track. I better go watch him. Well, what if he runs 8th that night and Masita won? Oh, I should have watched Masita.
Right,
it's just,
sure. Yeah.
I know which guys are fast every night. And like, if I'm up looking at the track or watching a hot lap session and like, you know what guys you should watch and you know what guys, when
Right.
you roll out for hot laps, you know who to be behind and who not. Like David Gravel fires off after me for hot laps. He's going to go in front of me, which is fine. I fire off behind whoever. Like I'm not going to obviously dog on anybody, but if I fire off behind somebody that I feel or I know that I'm faster than all the time, I'm going to pull around them or however many are of them and get behind a guy like David Gravel, who I know is faster than me, so that I don't catch them. Because like in hot laps, you don't want to catch the guy in front of you. Like that's the worst thing you can do, especially with a wing on top.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
dirty
you get
air.
dirty air. Like
Mhm.
you've ruined your hot laps. It's hard to tell what you need to
Right.
do to the car. So, but it's like obviously all of those guys, like I'd love to be as good as them, and I watch what they do. I've spent a lot of my career like in the grandstands for the feature watching what they do. So I'm to the point now. Usually, I'm at least in the race with them. So I don't know. I don't think there's anybody you just like. There's not one particular guy. There's a group of guys that I know are like they're good every night. If I watch what they do, like, and I go do that, I'm not going to be way off in left field.
Sure.
So, but
Yeah.
the amount of information sharing is, there's always some.
Yeah, but they're not
but
giving you
you gotta,
all nitbits.
they're not giving you it all, and they're stretching it. Like they're stretching. So you got to get good at just taking what they say and what you can see, and like knowing what they are and are not lying about. Like you have your one or two guys that like you're, tight with or whatever, you're really good buddies with, like that aren't going to lie to you. But there's a lot of guys, like it is a mind game out there. Guys are only going to be so truthful.
Right.
So, but they can only lie so much before it's like obvious. Like, oh, well, if we're at Eldora and someone asks me what gear I have in, and I tell them a 6.0, like they know I'm lying for sure. That's about points off. But like if I've got a 5.26 in, and I tell them, oh, I've got a 5.18 in.
Right.
Some guys might. I'm not. They don't like. They wouldn't think, oh, he's lying. That's so far off. Or if I got a 5.18 in, and I tell them, oh, I got a 5.26 in. 8 points at a place like Eldora where 1 through 25 is
pretty tight.
0.08 away, like legitimately a tenth of a second. That 8 points a year, that's a tenth, or can be, in either direction.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
one way or the other.
But you can't blatantly lie because it'd be obvious. Oh, I got 1050s down the left and 975s down the right. Like, okay, whatever. You don't. But so it's a lot of mind games, especially with everything like being so tight and close. Everyone can buy the same stuff. We all have the same equipment.
Right.
That's why inverts are dumb now, because you invert a guy like Gravel, who's 0.2 of a second faster than me in qualifying, has to start fourth. Well, when he's in dirty air, they're not going to pass me. That's why I made the historical big one. I made my prelim. I won the heat at the Nationals. I made the prelim because I started on the pole because I was quick. I went out dead last, and then my stuff is I'm just good enough that they're never going to get me like in an 8-lap heat race when I can be just as fast as them and there's no dirty air.
Yeah.
So it's tough, but it's a mind game for sure.
Well, I think that's gonna about do it for episode 2. Zach, it's been a pleasure, buddy.
Yeah, man, it's been
Appreciate
awesome.
you having me on.
Yeah, not a problem at all. So when are you gonna be? Are you done in Indiana then, or do you have any races coming up around this area?
Let me pop off here and look. I've got a schedule over here with like everything. July 28th and 29th.
We're down in
Paragon
Tennessee.
There's a fast race at Paragon that I'll end up running, but I think that's the last two.
Damn. And that's the weekend, like
Indiana.
Me and my wife and then Dano and his old lady, we're all gonna be down in Nashville, Tennessee. So fuck.
We'll see if we can get the bar for dinner to put it up on fucking on one of the TVs or something.
Well, yeah, it would be on the cushion. I would say those 2 nights will be on the cushion.
Right.
I think Fast
Gotcha.
Has a cushion deal.
Okay.
But yeah, those will be the last 2 in Indiana. I want to say there was 5 total, and we've done 3 of them. No, there would have been 6 if you count Hobstadt, which I kind of don't because it's so far down.
Way down south,
it's in
dude.
Indiana, but it's almost kind of not in it. I mean, it's in a different freaking time zone.
Yeah,
it
might
literally
as
is. Yeah.
might as well be in
Dude,
Kentucky at that point.
Might as well be Illinois.
I hated driving down there when we ran there with Andretti's because you lose an hour coming home, and it's such a fucking long drive. And
to really
watch the
upset
tractors.
some people. The best part about racing at Hobstadt is going home.
It's going home.
That's the best part about racing at Hobstadt. It's going home afterwards.
And see, that's the funny thing too, because you can ask any driver about Hobstadt, and they will either love it or they will hate it. There is literally no in between. Like that, it's either a badass place to race or it fucking sucks.
The ones who love it are assholes. Like it's a great non-wing sprint car track and midget track, but it's when it comes to wing sprint cars, 305 would probably be cool, maybe even a 360 race, but like when it comes to wing 410s, like there's just no. They could nuke the place. I wouldn't care, honestly. Well, maybe not nuke. They'd kill people around there, but like blow the place up. With nobody around,
implode,
and I would not care.
Level it, turn it into a cornfield.
I mean, I've
seen one. I've seen one wing race there.
Dirty racing. Like, is it
Yeah.
exciting as a fan to sit in the stands? Yeah, because everybody's trying to fucking kill each other. But like,
Yeah,
as
it's like a
race car
gladiator
driver,
ring.
it
Yeah.
sucks. Like, it promotes dirty racing. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like at the Outlaw show, like I'm trying to run a line and I'm just getting,
Bombs
people
thrown on
say
you.
I ran. Not even bombs, dude. Like, my left front mud cover was touching the hubcap. Just getting fucking wheeled 10 ways to sun. I passed 74 race cars in the B main and went like 6th to 5th. It was ridiculous. Yeah, I can't stand that place.
Tell me how you really feel.
Which is why I probably race bad there, because I don't like it. But
We're all trying to
yeah.
mellow down and sign off, and now we've got
He's getting
Zach all
fired the
fucking
fuck up.
melted tonight. We just completely ruined his night.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
said my piece.
Said my piece. All right, so you got your Shopify up. It's up there in the chat. 3 the number 5 racing.myshopify.com, twitter.com/Zach_Hampton35 on Twitter. The new Dirt Crowd thing is going on for you. So, and then I assume that we'll see you at some Crown Jewels here before long.
Yeah. Yeah. I will be at Eldora for sure.
Cool.
I'm not gonna have the motor I wish I had in for there, but it'll be all rightish if I draw the right pill, which I probably won't. And then I'll have my really good motor back for Knoxville, so I'll be at the Nationals. I don't really know that there's any big races in between that. Might do Peevely. If I can find a 360 motor, I will skip Peevely into the 360 Nationals. I'd really like to run the 360 Nationals. So I probably won't run the Doty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. Probably nothing. I gotta drive to PA. Like, I won't get back till Thursday. Hopefully, I'm trying to get in a car out there. That would be cool. If that doesn't happen, I'll probably just take next weekend off. I'm not gonna get back Thursday night and put a motor in my race car to go race. Like, that's just how shit gets tore up. So yeah, I would say the next, which if that's the case, the next deal's freaking the million.
The million should be the million, right?
Yeah, it should be the other one. Yeah.
What's this weekend? The 30th, 31st? No, there's one more weekend before the million.
Yeah, because this
The
weekend will be
7th
the
and 8th.
30th. Yeah, and then there's the 7th and 8th.
Yeah, the 7th and 8th. I don't know what I'll do. I will not do Ransomville and Sharon. I might do US 36 and Lake Ozark with Power Eye. I probably won't do the Outlaws are at 34 in Wilmot. I probably won't do that. I don't know. I might. I don't know. We'll see.
He hasn't made up his mind.
The life of a racer, man.
Kill this motor before. I don't want to have to go put the motor on kill it and Outlaws. I had 2 Outlaw shows before the million. I'd rather just go to the Power Eye stuff where I can take it a little easy on it.
Gotta break it in good, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and just I don't have to turn it 88.
All right, buddy. We appreciate you being here. You guys, if you're here in the chat, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, on Kick, or whatever, make sure you follow Zach. Keep up with all his racing stuff to get the Dirt Crowd going. Make sure you buy some stuff and support this guy. He's a cool cat. Tonight's the first time I met him, and I tell you what, Zach, you got a fan in me. Throwing the Toy Story out there.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being on here.
Of people who I don't have a fan of,
so that's fine with me. I'll come to your trailer and I'll fight all them motherfuckers. Fuck them.
Yeah, if there's another soundboard option for him.
Fuck you! How you doing?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been episode 2 of Just Got Off podcast with special guest Zach Hampton. Zach, good luck in your races, buddy. We will see you at the million, and we are getting off. Peace out.
Peace.
See ya.